All right, bam, we're live on YouTube. Hey, bam, we're live on there. Okay, we're almost ready to roll. Hope everybody's having an awesome week. This is a good time of the year to be busy. Should be lining up all your winter projects and should be booking jobs for 2026 if you haven't already. All right, let me just share the YouTube screen. We're almost ready to go. TikTok, 1 second. For those of you on TikTok, by the way, you can go over to our YouTube channel and I share a screen with some slides. So, but you'll still get the content here. And for those of you, if you have any questions, all you gotta do is type them in and in the comments and we'll roll. All right, so what do we have going on? Why you should stop doing free estimates. They are literally killing your business. It's interesting. I wanted to put the word killing your business in the titles, but there's all these warnings when you start using the word kill, murder, killing. Everybody's so literal these days. Nobody can think or reason, take a joke, right? It's like, oh no, he's talking about killing. No, it's your business. It's dying, right? Free estimates are going to be the death of you and your company. If you're a remodeling contractor, you have to figure out a way to get around and stop doing free estimates as soon as possible. All right, so here's what we're at. Today is day 16. I'm doing the 100-day challenge. We'll go over what AI can do to help you in your remodeling business. We do one thing per day. And what's nice about this is you'll learn there's different things. So within the Remodeling Academy, we have some pillars, and we're on pillar 2 right now, which is sales. It's strategy and client conversion. So this is how you can stop guessing and start leading your business. All right, so here's the ugly truth. Free estimates, they're a scam against you, mainly the contractor. And over time, somehow it's become this common thing that everyone's like, oh, you do free estimates? No, you don't have to. And believe it or not, you will probably start landing better jobs the minute that you start saying, no, we don't do free estimates. And then the homeowner goes, well, why not? How come? And then you can explain the whole broken process and why it sucks and why they don't even want a free estimate, because free estimates are junk, they're trash, they're a waste of everybody's time. So why free estimates aren't really free? Look, they cost you hours. You got to be real with this. Think about it. You get a phone call, you drive to wherever you're supposed to drive, you're measuring, pulling out your tape. What's this? What's that? You do the research, then you do the follow-up, and then the homeowner, they get what, a ballpark guess at best from someone who's really too afraid to even tell them, there's a better way to do this, right? And here's the thing, your competition's doing it as well. So the minute you say to them, we don't do free estimates, they'll go, well, wait a minute, everybody else does. And you go, exactly. And that's why you're getting ripped off by all of them. And they'll be ripped off, it's free. Say, no, it's not. It's a waste of your time and money. And it's false hope. You think that that's the price that it's really going to be. It's not. That contractor has no intention of actually doing the job for the free estimate price. There's going to be change orders. There's going to be things that got missed. And you, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, you're going to end up paying way more and you're going to get way less. So you have to be able to have this adult style conversation, right? So anyway, this is not, free estimates is not a business strategy in remodeling, not in 2025 at least. It's fear-based and it's begging, basically like you're in a polo shirt and you're running around begging for work. Stop doing that. Here's the truth, right? Free estimates are a symptom of not knowing how to market or sell your service properly. And it's like a panic button that you hit when leads are scarce. You say to yourself, well, I got to go out. I got to go look at it. You know, I do better when I'm in person. And things are slow right now. I don't have any leads. I really need this job. No, it's a waste. Stop. You're afraid because you don't have enough leads coming in. You didn't make any profit on the last job that you didn't sell for enough as well. So you're running in a perpetual state of fear and you're scared. And you have to end the cycle. At a certain point, you have to say, I have to get paid to estimate. I have to get paid to run my business if you want to survive long term. Okay, it's not 2020 anymore, and jobs just aren't falling out the sky because everybody's stuck at home because of a pandemic. Like, wake up, it's the real world now. You got to learn how to sell and be a dominant force in your local marketplace. If you're not crushing your competition, then that lets you know the competition is crushing you. So wake up. All right. So look, let's talk about the behavioral psychology shift. Fear is driving you, not logic. And you have to recognize that. Okay. Most of you got into the business thinking one thing, and then within 6 months, you're doing something completely different. You were like, I didn't think it'd be this hard. I thought it was going to be easy to get jobs. I thought everyone was going to just chase me down and couldn't wait for me to get hired and hand me checks, and I'd be making profit left and right. If that's what is happening, awesome. You have cracked the code. Most guys are desperate, scared, tired, and broke, right? But yet they still go out and give more free estimates because deep down there's fear. There's fear that if I charge, I'll lose the job. No one in my area does that. People just want, my clients wouldn't understand being charged. So here's what's really happening. You're operating from a scarcity mindset, not a strategic plan, right? You're hoping to land jobs instead of filtering out the clients so that you know these are the right people to deal with. There's a difference from hope to knowing. And you don't have a marketing engine. Like, no wonder you're scared because you don't understand how to even bring in more leads, right? Do you even have door hangers? Do you know what a proper marketing campaign is? Do you know how to put the Pardon My Dust campaign in every neighborhood that you're doing work? I mean, do you have yard signs? Are there jobs, are there magnets with lettering on all the vehicles that are showing up on the job sites? Do you have matching shirts? Have you gone around and introduced yourself to all the neighbors of every project that you do and get? I don't know. Like, these are basics. And then are you sending mailers to all those households? Do you have little flyers? Do you have a nice trifold glossy that you can hand out? Okay. So anyway, the mindset of not understanding how to market absolutely will keep you scared and keep you broke and keep you desperate. So you want to move from being burnt out and broke. All right. So here's the problem. The homeowner gets junk when everyone's giving a free estimate. Okay. And it's not just bad for you, it's bad for them. They get rushed, vague, incomplete numbers, right? How many times have the homeowner said, you're way more expensive than the other bid? And you're like, well, let me look at the other bids. And they show you, and you look at them and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. This person missed this. They're not doing that. They're barely building to a C level. I'm building to like an A+. Like, they're just doing the bare minimum, right? They're going to use drywall screws for their framing. Like, that's not going to fly. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to, and you start breaking it down and you see how bad it really is. And then the homeowner starts going, oh my God, I had no idea. Exactly. So if you're not doing that, breaking it down, then are you really a professional? Come on now. They don't get, the homeowner on a free estimate isn't really getting clarity, and they're not being given a lot of confidence. Dad, hey, Jacob. All right. And then they go into a 6-figure model with less planning than like a weekend camping trip, right? Think about that. Most homeowners spend more time investing in planning their weekend vacation or canoe trip than they do truly even understanding the remodeling project that they're about to jump into. Because somewhere in their mind, they heard from people, get a lot of estimates. The whole reason that the media in the 70s told homeowners to get multiple estimates, it wasn't to get the cheapest price. You have to explain to homeowners the reason you get a multiple estimate is because you want to understand who's the best contractor, the most professional, the one who's going to provide you with the best solution, the one that truly understands the remodel scope and project, right? When you say you want to remodel a kitchen, you don't want the guy who's built 5 decks coming up and saying, yeah, I want to build kitchens now. That's the whole point that why homeowners were originally supposed to get multiple estimates. You have to explain that to homeowners. Say, this is how this whole thing came together. It was never that you're supposed to get the cheapest price. Say, homeowners got confused over time that they thought, well, I guess I go for the cheapest. You don't want the cheapest. Believe me, you don't want the cheapest. All right. So the new identity, right, is that you want to explain to people that the free estimate game is a lie and that guessing is gambling on their future, right? Especially when the stakes are high. The larger that the project price starts becoming, the higher the risk. And you have to explain to homeowners, hey, like the last several homeowners in the neighborhood that went to court, all because they hired the cheapest contractor. In fact, you can start pulling up court records in your local area and a lot of the lawsuits involving homeowners and contractors. Go talk to the homeowner in your area and you'll find out, well, we hired like the cheaper bidder, right? And you can start building a portfolio to explain to homeowners, you should call the Johnsons. 3 years ago, they hired the cheapest contractor and they're still in litigation. So you might want to rethink that plan. When you ask the homeowner, how do you plan to hire a contractor? They say, well, we're looking for the cheapest bid. Say, I've had a lot of clients say that. Here's what I recommend you do. Go ahead and give these people a phone call and ask them how that worked out for them. Like, you need to build your own little portfolio of the cheap homeowners in your zip code, in your neighborhood that are in lawsuits because they went with the cheapest contractor. And then you refer your future, when you meet with a new client and they want to go cheap, you explain to them, call these people, talk to them, see how that worked out for them. Anyhow, all right. So here's the new identity. You're going to become like an advocate, right? You're the paid consultant. You're not a free laborer just running around giving free estimates. So you want to position your strategy. So try this, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We don't do free estimates. We offer a design and planning session, right? Say something along those lines. We offer a strategy, scope of work. We do a feasibility process. Okay. In my area, we have a lot of older homes that might have already been remodeled once, especially like a kitchen or bathroom. So when the homeowner's calling us, we explain to them, we don't know what we're going to run into when we open up these walls because somebody else has already done the original build. Then somebody else came behind and did a remodel. So who knows what we're going to run into? So what we should consider doing is what we call feasibility process. And what that entails is we're going to come in here, we're going to do some preliminary demolition, we're going to look behind some walls, get up and see what's on the floor joist, right? We're going to remove some of the surface, whether that's sheetrock or plaster, and then we can give you an idea. We're really going to dive in and see what your plumbing system is, your electrical components are. Then we can give you a proper price, a complete price to do this process. And that's something that gets paid. It's a feasibility study and you charge for that. And as you do the investigation and as you have your employees or subs come out and analyze the condition of the home and understand how much it's going to cost to do what they want, then you provide a proper proposal at the end. Okay? So this way, the homeowner gets to see exactly what they want and they make sure it gets done right. So now you're setting expectations, you're attracting serious clients, and you're being respected as the expert. And you reclaim your time and you get paid even if they don't move forward. So here's your strategic fix moving forward. Use the SPARK filter. Use the process that I talk about. First, you have to make sure you're weeding your leads, right? You have to be asking hard questions. As soon as somebody calls you, sends you a text, say, hey, Joe, we heard about you from so-and-so, and we'd like you to come out and look at our bathroom, right? That's awesome, Ms. Smith. Got a few things I want to go over with you before we come out, right? Just like you're probably wanting to make sure that we're the right contractor for you. Our process is we want to make sure that you're the right client for us. You can appreciate that, right? It works for both of us. And so then you go through this whole process. You want to ask them what's the budget that they're looking at, and you'll say to them, see, if you just ask the homeowner what's their budget, they think that's a catch. They think you're trying to sucker them to get them to say a price so that you can then sell the job for how much they just said. And that's because you haven't built up trust and rapport, right? So you got to back the whole thing up, and you say to them, tell me more about what you want in this remodel. And then you explain to them, well, you bring up the elephant first. You talk about price. Well, you know, this is what you've described to me. Our company, we've done like 15 of those bathrooms just in the last 6 months alone, and they cost about X to X. Is that what you were thinking this was going to be? And right then and there over the phone, you're going to understand, if they understand, what they're about to get into. And if they don't, that's okay. You can move on. You can not waste all of your time. Most guys are running out, right? They get the phone call. Oh no, I got to run out and go meet with the homeowner. And then the homeowner says, yeah, we want this new bathroom. Oh yeah, we want that nice vanity. Oh, we want that fancy tile. Put that in there. And then you go home and you Google everything. You get all your numbers you put down, and you send over this $30,000 estimate. And the homeowner goes, we saw on HGTV that it was only going to cost $5,000. What's the deal, Bill? And then you realize you just wasted all this time and energy because you didn't have a proper planning process in the beginning. So you need to do that going forward. You have to find out who else is going to be involved in their decision to make this purchase. Okay. Are they going to have a spouse that has to get involved? Are there parents? Did they inherit money? Is there a relative? You know, what's the situation? How's all this going to be broken down? Who owns the home? You need to make sure you're figuring that out. Most of you know that by now. And you want to understand, have they done remodeling before? How did it go? Right? What did they do to figure out who to hire last time? Hey, Miss Smith, I know you remodeled your bathroom a year ago. How come you're not hiring that guy to come back out for this project? Like, why are you calling me? I would be asking those questions. And if that contractor's around, you might want to call them and find out, hey, the Smiths hired you? Were they a good client? Like, what's the deal? How come you're not going back to do this? If they flinch, if the homeowner doesn't have good answers, then how do you know, like, you really want to work for them? Anyway, ballpark, right? We talked about that. No, remodelers, you usually have to be the one to go first and give estimates. So you got to know what you're talking about. So don't be going out estimating jobs that you don't know, or at least if you can't figure it out. And don't want to be driving all around town to waste your time. So also remember, step 3, I talk about this frequently. You have to position your process. The paid planning designing session. It's going to be between X and X, right? Like a kitchen, you should be charged around like $2,500 to do a proper design for a kitchen, and a planning session for a full-on remodel, something that's going to cost the homeowner around $100,000. Yeah, there's hundreds of details that have to be picked out for a kitchen remodel. And that gets them that detailed layout, and they get real numbers. And this way, you can also explain to the homeowner, like, hey, Mr. and Mr. Smith, if you do decide to hire us or move forward with us, this process that we're doing here, we will credit that back to you. Okay? But you're also free to take our design and our plan and hire whoever you want. In my experience, that never happens unless you really botched it. But as long as you are professional, can do the job that you say you can, and show up on time, answer questions, and put together a proper proposal and plan, the homeowner's already built the relationship with you. They're going to hire you. That's the beauty. You get paid to do the estimate, and then they hire you to do the remodel. And until you walk through the process, you may not understand how all of this just works together like hand in glove. It's a perfect match. So here's the AI part for the challenge. You can use it to write a confident professional response to any homeowner who asks you for a free estimate. because you need to learn how to start combating and going back and forth with the homeowner when they want that free estimate. And you want to be able to explain why you offer the paid design planning session instead and how it benefits them. So, what are some action tasks? How do you shift your messaging? You need to update your website. You might have to change your voicemails. You need to have like inquiry response emails that are automated and ready to go, right? That reflects this paid planning process, whatever you want to call it. You should have like a 60-second video. Maybe you put that on TikTok or Instagram or your YouTube channel. It should be on your website, right? You ever handed over your bid to a homeowner? They used it to hire someone cheaper. So you want to explain to the homeowner, have you ever gotten a free estimate and found out nothing that you really wanted was even in there and it wasn't the right thing and it was a nightmare, and then that contractor showed up the first week and now all of a sudden they're charging you for all these extras because you thought it was included, but it's not, and there was all this confusion. It all stems back to the free estimate. So it's all risk. It's not worth it. Too high risk. Go low risk. LT Landon, you have to give me more information. I'm not sure what you're asking. Okay. So, and as a bonus prompt, you can create a 3 email sequence that helps educate a lead on why you charge and the benefits of that design planning session are over the contractor who's only giving the free estimate. So at the end of the day, so look, if you need help with any of these prompts and setting this process up, you reach out to us at the Remodeling Academy, okay? You can message me on TikTok. We'll figure it out. We'll get you set up. You can go to the link in my bio, and that'll get you into our system. You can get a copy of my book, and then you can get a link into our free Facebook community, and then we can go from there. We also have a paid community. I'm not sure if you're going to qualify for that, but there's steps that you can start taking so that you can transform your remodeling business. And here's the deal. Free estimates are for the broke and for the fearful. So keep being broke, keep being afraid. You can keep doing what every other desperate contractor does, or you can step up and be the remodeler that you've always wanted to be, get paid to plan, to guide, and deliver the exceptional work. So that's it for tonight, I believe, unless anybody has any questions. Let me see. Anybody here on TikTok? Landon, did you want to clarify the question you had? Are you still on? Can't tell. I don't see any other questions coming in. Let me check over on YouTube. I don't see any questions on YouTube. So, guys, I think that's going to be the end of the call tonight. Appreciate y'all being here. And again, any questions? If you're having any issues with any estimates that you're giving out, if there's anything we can ever help you with, you need a second set of eyes, you want some clarity on what your future of the business is going to be. I mean, this is one of the best times to be in remodeling. Some of the people we're working with right now are having their best year ever. And yet others I talk to are struggling like never before. So now they're not in our program, but the ones who get in, they're not having their worst year ever. But several people out there right now are struggling. And it's because they were complacent the last few years, especially people that started their business during the pandemic. They just got lucky. You know, it was good timing. It was easy. Anybody with a hammer and a social media account could make money 3 years ago. It's not like that now. It's a lot harder. You got to actually understand business and remodeling, and you have to have some sales training and get a marketing plan together. All right. That looks like that's the end of the call. I don't see any other questions coming in. So thanks so much. Appreciate you all being here, and we'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Again, if you need to see any of the replays, you can always go back to the YouTube channel for the Remodeling Academy. Go under the workshop section, and you'll see some live videos there. Okay. And then, a lot of the daily tips and hints, obviously, they show up first on TikTok. So if you don't have a TikTok account, you should set up a TikTok account and start following us on the Remodeling Academy, because that's where I give a lot of the little tips that a lot of you guys need to make the business successful. All right, that's it for tonight. Appreciate everybody being here, and peace. We'll see you next time. All right. I'm gonna end the stream here. End stream.